ここが宇宙飛行士記念博物館 AMM だ。
タレコミ屋の指定場所にしては賑やかだな。
週末だから観光客も多い。その方が安全だと思ったんだろう。
信用して大丈夫だろうか。
ここで思案してもどうにもならん。さあ、そろそろ約束の時間だ。指定の場所へ急ごう。
They got room for an entire astronaut junkyard here, huh?
このロケット群は
What are all these rockets?
宇宙開発に貢献したロケットの展示だ。本物もあるがほとんどがレプリカだ。
地球にもこんな感じのところがあったな。
そうだ。ケネディ宇宙センターのロケットガーデンだろ。確かあそこからも何台か持ってきてるはずだ。
What? Okay. It's cool seeing all these. Makes the place look like some space base from the old sci-fi movies. That's the Saturn V rocket. It launched the Apollo mission. It was the largest rocket of this 20th century. Well, I don't want to... It's AMM's nameplate, Astronaut Memorial Museum. They're open right now. We're in luck. It says administration free during the anniversary commemoration period. The building is modeled after Kennedy Space Center's vehicle assembling building. The scale and inside are totally different, but outside appearance is an exact recreation. I thought it looked familiar. Launch Complex 39. We went to Kennedy once for part of our training, remember? There's the main entrance there. I'm dealing with a sale.
博物館か。ワクワクする。
勘違いするな。タレコミ屋に会いに来たんだぞ。いいな。ここがサンゴホールと呼ばれているロビーだ。
なるほど。でかいサンゴだな。
Interesting. Now we have to find our informant. Talk to this homie. He looks like a college student. He's studying that capsule there. That's Project Mercury's Friendship 7, which carried the first American into orbit around home. Astronaut Glenn's mission lasted 4 hours 55 minutes, taking him around home 3 times. This is in pretty good shape for something that old. This is only the replica. The real one was charred to go crisp when it re-entered the atmosphere. Doesn't look like he's the informant. That's AMM guide. A lot of them are just school kids working part-time. So this is what Anna was doing before. I'm always worried about her. I guess being a guide at a museum is not that bad. Let me talk to you for a second. How can I help you? AMM gives you an up-close view of history and mankind's colonization of outer space and all its rewards. We have over 88,000 items on display here. Where can we find Pioneer? Pioneer 10 is on display at the Space Corner. Let's go take a look. What time do you get off? Sorry, but we're not permitted to date visitors. I like that rule. Good to see they enforce it too. I probably didn't need to worry about Anna when she was here after all. I don't believe I've seen either of them here. The Policenauts? We have an exhibit on them here, of course. I'm sorry, but are you by any chance Astronaut Ingram? Just so happens I am. No, on second thought, I guess that couldn't be possible. I'm sorry I brought it up. You don't need any sort of card here. That boy looks like he'd be in middle school or so. He's looking at the plate. He couldn't be the informant.
ロシアのミール宇宙ステーションのミニチュアだ。
宇宙長期滞在記録を出したり、日本人を初めて宇宙で迎えたり。よく覚えてる。旧ソ連が崩壊してからしばらく 放置されていた。
そうだ。その後日本の企業に売却された。後の徳川だ。実物はまだ地球軌道を回っている。今では宇宙博物館として使われてるらしい。
あの頃は旧ソ連が蓄積した宇宙技術を日本企業に売却するニュースを毎日のようにやっていたな。
宇宙開発後進国であった日本がここまでなったのもあの技術売却があったからだ。
日本企業が初めて宇宙に実質的なビジネスを持ち込んだ。
That's super cool. Interesting lore.
これはホームから取り寄せた本物のサンゴ礁の化石だ。この中にはホームの大気中の CO2 が大量に溶け込んでいる。セレスのシンボルとしてこのホールに置かれている。
人間には真似できない自然の脅威か。
苦労したらしい。ホームからここまで運んでくるのに。
That's super cool. He's an older man. He must be at least 80 or so. He looks really interested in everything. Maybe being here has brought back some old memories. This is an emotional place for terrestrials. Doesn't seem like the informant. It's a guide, girl working at reception. We could try asking her about the place the informant mentioned. You have a minute? How can I help you? The museum is divided into 3 main corners, beyond moon and space. Here at AMM, you'll find a thorough retracing of space exploration and development from its genesis to its present day. The theme of our exhibition is Beyond Gateway to the Stars. Where can we find Pioneer? The Pioneer we have is Pioneer 10. We don't have 1 through 9 or 11. And where is Pioneer 10? Pioneer 10 can be found at the space corner.
どうやらパイオニアは一つしかないらしい。
タレコミ屋の指定場所はそこだな。
ああ、パイオニア10号前だ。ここがビヨンド関連の展示コーナー。
Oh dear.
エド、俺たちポリスノーツの人形が並んでるぞ。
驚いたか？このビヨンドコーナーではポリスノーツであった俺たちはヒーローってわけだ。
この若さで歴史上の人物とは。
そう言うな。俺たちも宇宙開発に少しは貢献したんだ。光栄じゃないか。
少しはか。
This is a figure. I think it's slightly better looking. Look at how they got me smiling. I look like a... I'm not saying that. I don't smile like this in real life. Kidding aside, they did a good job for sure. These are really well done. They're looking like our doppelgangers. They got the best in the business on these. They were given every piece of data they had on us. Body. Measurements, hair samples, everything. They knew us better than we know ourselves. I remember them going over our bodies with a fine-tooth comb when we applied for the Policenauts. I heard they're gonna replace these with animatronic robots soon. They're gonna have us moving around like idiots. Using hydraulics, air pressure, yeah, we'll even talk. Same Japanese company that made those animatronic dinosaurs is gonna make them. You know the one I mean, right? We'll decide how we move. If you guys don't know what he's referring to, if you go to, I want to say Shibuya district of Japan, there's an underground bar, and they have like Godzilla stuff, a lot of like kaiju stuff, but they do like these super animatronic fighting rings, and they like breathe fire and stuff. Totally Google it. It's so cool. If you ever visit Japan, it's an absolute must-see. It could be in Shinjuku or Tokyo. I'm not 100% positive where it is, but it's one of those 3 in my mind. Japan's big. It's all city. They'll end up as some live-action show, almost indistinguishable from the real us. This is me in my younger days. I'd never recognize you. Come on, I hate it when people bring up my age. They did an amazing job with these. It's scary. Yo, what up, my guy? It's my guy, Gates. It's a figure of Gates. One of the 5 of us, he was always most likely to end up chief. Yeah, now he's my boss. You're Salvatore, yep. It looks a little big for some reason. Well, he's the kind of guy who seems smaller than he actually is. Yeah, that's true. Sal's made some mistakes in his life, just like us. Ended up better off than us. At least he's got a decent job. It's a figure of Takagawa. Sometimes I forget he used to be one of us. Now he's practically some kind of god. He's a shrewd guy. He used the Policenauts to promote the group a number of times in the past. This is a replica of the Yuri, the forerunners to the modern EMPS. Its emphasis was on mechanical works outside of the colony, so its armor is thin and it's only lightly equipped. Totally different setup from today. It was hailed as the successor to NASA's MMU. Hard to imagine this is where combat EMPs evolved from, huh? This is what I had my accident in. Nearly sent me on a one-way ticket to nowhere. Well, you would land somewhere. Ooh.
これがさっき見たユーリーが積載していた脱出用ポッドのサバイバルボールだ。コールドスリープの機能も搭載している。実物はもう少し大きいがな。
俺はこの中で30年間も宇宙をさまよっていたんだ。そのために宇宙不適応者になった。
ジョナサンの生命を30年間維持し続けたんだ。よくできたカプセルだよ。
コールドスリープとしてはまさに実験段階だった。救出された時は寝たきり老人と変わらなかった。
今じゃ筋肉の低下もあまりない。
俺は1年以上も歩けなかった。
クマの冬眠の研究の成果だ。
クマ？
人間は筋肉を使わなければ3日で衰える。しかしクマは冬眠中半年以上も筋肉を維持できるんだ。
なるほど。クマの方が宇宙飛行士に向いてるようだ。
今やこのコールドスリープをクマの冬眠と呼んでいる。
Interesting.
ビヨンドの模型だ。俺たちが今いるコロニーのな。
世界で最初で最後のシリンダー型コロニー。なぜこのタイプのコロニーは作られないんだ？
これには技術的な問題もあるだろうが、コロニーの建築業者が絡んでいるんだ。
政治的な問題？
まさに今コロニー建設のシェアは徳川建設が独占している。もともと徳川のコロニー技術はトーラス型のものだ。ここのオニール型は欧米の技術。
つまり癒着。徳川がオニール型を排除した。
そうだろうな。徳川が自社のトーラス型を売り込んだ結果だろう。もちろん大型オニールコロニーの欠陥も発見された上でのことだ。
ビヨンドがオニール型の欠陥を自ら証明した。
そこへうまく徳川が介入したんだ。
しかしこのコロニーを作った欧米企業も黙っちゃいないだろう。コロニー建設といえばオリンピックより儲かる。
それだけではない。オニール型のコロニーを推し進めていた欧米企業もコロニーの部品を徳川に依存していたからなんだ。
徳川抜きではコロニーは作れない。
そういうことだ。最近ではこのトーラス型を徳川型と総称するらしい。
I mean, you really can't build a space station without understanding how toruses work anyways, because you need gravitational pressure from the rotation. Centripetal rotation, technically, but centripetal and forces, the way they're taught, aren't 100% accurate. You wouldn't really know that unless you study physics, so study physics. Super cool.
このビヨンドの位置が記されているマップだ。
ラグランジュポイントの L5。
そう。この地球と月の重力バランスの均衡位置にコロニーは浮かんでいる。
We're rotating around the moon. We're a satellite. That's pretty cool. This is a small monument built in honor of the Policenauts. It's even got our autographs on it. So it does. Makes you feel kind of stupid, don't it?
ここが宇宙探査に関する展示がされているコーナーだ。
Interesting. The Pioneer, the informant mentioned, should be around here somewhere. Well, let's move to the moon corner real quick then.
ここはアポロ計画を中心に月面関係が展示されているコーナーだ。
月面のセットがそのまま再現されてる。
I don't think they're gonna give us anything really important there. That's one of the Viking landers. There were 2 landers that landed on Mars as part of the Viking program. This is Viking 1, lander replica, which touched down on Crisis Planetia on July 20th, 1976. I saw what was left of it when I was there. My phone's just blowing up. The media dubbed it Reunion. It's because I have a bunch of stuff on the marketplace. Inside this case, they have a display. Some messages, I suppose you could call them, that were sent into space to extraterrestrials that might be out there. They were loosely related to the SETI program on US conducted for a while. They would attach them to probes that were being sent out to space. We're still performing SETI to this day. Don't get that confused. They have the metal plaque that was on the Pioneer probes and the gramophone record that was on Voyager probes. That's a replica of the Galileo spacecraft. It's famous for launching a probe into Jupiter's atmosphere in 1995 and performing an analysis of it. And it then did flybys of the 4 Galilean moons. I remember watching it when I was a kid. Now that was exciting. That's Pioneer 10 there. It was the first spacecraft to make a close encounter with Jupiter. That's only a replica, of course. The real one left the solar system long, long ago. Yeah, back in 1983 or something. Before either of us were even born. So this is the Pioneer the informant was talking about. Where is he? You know that case with SETI stuff in it? There's a plaque the same as the one carried on Pioneer 10 and 11 inside. Maybe there's some kind of message from him. Let's take a look. Ah, that's the Voyager 1. Voyager 1 traveled to the outer planets Jupiter and Saturn, discovered Io's volcanoes and Jupiter's rings, as well as new moons around Saturn. It'll be making its way through the far reaches of the heliosphere about now. Inside that display case is a copy of the gramophone record carried on Voyager 1 and 2. This is a hologram of the solar system. A lot of the information used to make it came from the craft on display here. It's a shame there isn't as much exploration going on these days. These cases contain messages of mankind to extraterrestrials.
パイオニア10号、11号に積まれた ET へのメッセージ用プレートだ。
何もメッセージらしきものは見当たらんが。
考えすぎだったが。
Shows the 9 planets of the solar system and how a spacecraft came from the 3rd planet from the star, or stars. The distance between the planets is expressed in binary numbers. It's a life-size model of the Viking 1 lander. It's the American flag the Apollo astronauts planted on the surface after each landing. When you think about it, planting a national flag in space like that does seem pretty ridiculous, even if it was smack during the middle of the space race. That was back when America was still a superpower. She needed a way of flexing her muscles. Space was dominated by a handful of countries in those days. Yeah, and now business dominates it. Plutocracy! This is a replica of the Apollo 11's lunar module, the Eagle. July 20th, 1969. Nice. Who could ever forget that day, right? The Ascend module was recovered and brought back home. The Descent module is still out there. The Saturn rocket outside is the same as the one that launched the Apollo missions. That's Surveyor, the lunar probe that was used to scout for landing sites for the Apollo mission. Surveyor 1 got there several years before the first humans arrived. The Surveyor program ended with Surveyor 7, 18 months before the first manned mission. That's the lunar roving vehicle that was taken aboard Apollos 15, 16, and 17. It was electric powered with a top speed of 14 kilometers an hour on a flat surface. Kind of like an EMPS for the guys back then. That's the lunar EVA suit used during the Apollo program. You could call this the Yuri of spacesuits. That's part of the Apollo Lunar Surface Experiments package that was deployed on the moon by Apollo 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is the LSEP device, sensitive to lunar surface movement, a seismometer, basically. I hear there are stores that fix up this kind of old equipment and sell it. That's another second generation lunar EVA suit. I bet pretty soon they'll have these turned into animatronic robots, huh? Yeah, you could call them more of an attraction than an exhibit. You could call the Yuri a spacesuit. This is the so-called Genesis rock that Apollo 11 brought back from the moon. It's not as special now as it was back then, of course. Is this the real thing? Yeah. Moon rocks are a dime a dozen now, but I suppose you could call this a first edition. Moon rock. I saw them selling them at the spaceport in OLA. That just sucks all that was special right out of them. Lunar regolith was once heavily sought after for experiments, since there was so little available then. That'll change with the 21st century. People wouldn't even go to the trouble of making their own regolith. That's how valuable it was. These orphans in these is terrible.
探査コーナーだ。
あれ、この宇宙服は何だ？月面服がどうしてこのコーナーに？
ジョナサン、中に誰かいるぞ。
これは動く展示物か？
そうじゃなさそうだ。ようやくデートの相手に会えたようだ。
Oh, I
お前
love
が
the
電話の
artwork.
男か。顔を見せろ。
静かにしろ。そのままの格好で俺の話を聞け。騒ぐと怪しまれる。
うまく考えたな。音声も変えてある。
お前だな。俺たちを呼び出したのは。
そうだ。さすがはポリスノーツ。すぐに分かったようだな。
こんなところに立ってりゃ子供でもわかる。
あんたら北条を探してんだろ。
北条の行方を知ってるのか？
どこにいる？奴は生きてるのか？
一人ずつ順番に話せ。いいな。
Look at this guy. Calls us out here and then turns up in this. It's a spacesuit from the Apollo program. The museum probably uses it for events. It'll be easier to move in than the displays at the moon corner. Yeah, the real ones weigh well over 100 pounds. He's not going anywhere. Alright, what have you got for us? I could have just arrested him. That's illegal. I have no right to. I have no evidence. I don't even have probable cause. Why can't you tell us who you are? Whose side are you on? I can't reveal my identity. Not yet, anyway. My life is in danger. As I said before, you can call me 9 stars. 9 stars? What happened to Hojo? He betrayed them. He started selling it behind their backs. Them. It. That's a Takagawa ID, isn't it? You think I care about that? Yeah, that's Kenzo Hojo. Okay. So where is Hojo? He was eliminated a long time ago. That's what happens when you cross these guys. I'm going to end up just like Hojo and that woman. You're saying Hojo's dead? They've already taken care of his body. You'll never find it. Don't waste your time looking. Who is them? I can't say. Not out here anyway. Is it Takagawa? Is Holmes Mafia involved? It's not that simple, okay? We saw a politician at Takagawa's party. Are guys like him involved too? Were Hojo and Lorraine killed by this them? Yes. Screw with these guys and you're done. Done! You can't even begin to imagine. You'll be hearing from them soon, I'm sure. Who is that woman? Hojo's wife. I think her name was Lorraine. Nobody's safe with these guys. Why was Lorraine killed? Hojo probably told her something he shouldn't have. You have no idea what these people are like. They would kill absolutely anyone. What is the it you mentioned? Narc, the semi-synthetic drug. They've been using DDSES development at Takagawa's pharmaceuticals to float Narc onto the market. That's the real purpose of the case series, to get Narc out there without anyone noticing. The newest one is the K9. It's nothing more than a vessel for Narc. I thought the selling point behind K9 is the even dissolution of drug in weightlessness. That's the official story, but a capsule with an osmotic pressure system is nothing special. The K9's real purpose is carrying and concealing Narc. Hojo and I started selling it on our own. It was my idea. Everything was going to plan. Nobody should ever have suspected what we were doing. We don't believe you. We didn't find anything in the capsules we got from Hojo. And who's to say it couldn't somehow be traced back to you? You guys aren't seeing the bigger picture. Look, I don't want to end up like Hojo, alright? I'll point you in the right direction. I'll let you in one of the secrets behind Narc. To be more precise, where the secret is. You have no idea what these people are like. They would kill absolutely anyone. You'll know who I am soon enough, provided we survive the long. You expect us to just accept that and move on? If that's the way you're going to act, I can just drop everything. Notice he doesn't have an accent when he gets mad either. What kind do you mean? A home accent. You're a beyond, aren't you? Do you not trust me? Of course not. We don't know who you are. Is it on home? That's for you to find out, isn't it? Hopefully you guys caught that, because I didn't know I was getting extra dialogue. Hojo made a copy of the CD-ROM containing a video on Narc. He created the original to show to the Mafia and other organizations. It explains the tricks behind the capsules in plain English. A CD-ROM. So this CD explains everything about them? Right, including how to use them. Why is CD in this age of optical computing? That's the point, to limit where you can read it. It wouldn't stand as evidence in court either. That's why Hojo uses CD. It's an archaic data format. Load the CD and it'll explain everything. That's all I can say for now. If you help me get to home, I'll tell you everything once my safety's been secured. Where is it? Hojo would have stashed it somewhere. I bet they don't even know what that copy exists. If I had to guess, I'd say it's at his house. Ooh. There was that CD that didn't have any music on it. Could that be it? The CD can only be read on a T-Gear 99, Takagawa's network terminal. In addition, it works off a special boot method. You can only load it on any other read device. We should do that at the hospital, probably. The CD's got state-of-the-art data encryption, too. Even BCP couldn't read it. You guys get most of your technology from Takagawa, don't you? Whatever you have, they're already on something else. Yeah, that is true. Almost all our equipment is patented by Takagawa. They own the know-how as well as none of it's public. You'll need to go to a Takagawa facility to load it. We can't just waltz in there and expect them to help us. Who says we're gonna ask? Load the CD and it'll explain everything. That's all I can say for now. If you help me get to home, oh, we already read that. There's a few steps you have to go through to get into the system. You'll need a Takagawa ID card, have it, and employee ID codes for all this. First, it'll do a card check. We have chosen which card. Whatever you do, don't lose that. So then what? Then it'll run a check to see if the person using the card really is a Takagawa employee. Employees has an ID given them based on the family crest. You mean those Japanese things? Oh, we have to do it at... Right, select the one it asks for and you're in. This is how they protect their data. So you can't access any of their files if you're not an employee, supposedly. Exactly. If you don't clear the checks, you'll be starting at a blank screen.
いいか、覚えたか。カモンチェックで T ギア99が使用可能になる。それから CD ロムをロードする。また連絡する。俺を信用しろ。言っておくが、俺の後をつけたりすんなよ。
待て、まだ聞きたいことがある。
北条の剣は氷山の一角に過ぎん。奴らはもっと恐ろしいことを行ってる。
もっと恐ろしいこと。
奴らはあんたらが思っている以上に根が深い。BCP にも仲間がいる。用心するんだな。また連絡する。じゃあな。
帰っちまったぞ。尾行するか。
待て、ジョナサン。まずは CD ロムだ。あの男の言っていることが真実かどうか。あの男の正体についてはそれからだ。さっきも言ったが、奴はホームなまりがない。明らかにビヨンズだ。ビヨンズならどこにも逃げやしない。しかし、
どうした？
タバコ臭いな。ひょっとしてお前タバコ吸ったか？
いや、手違いで火がついたんだ。もう消した。
危ないな。先折りタバコか。
ああ、先を折るだけで発火する。消すのも簡単だが。
気をつけろよ。人に見られたら通報されるぞ。ま、それはいいとして。
情報の真意の確認だな。
That's cool. You bend the cigarette and it lights it. That's pretty neat. We've seen a man in a spacesuit here. You mean for an event? We're not holding any today. We only have those on select days. It probably is an event costume he was wearing, isn't it? Want to ask him if they're missing any? Have you by chance had any lunar suits go missing lately? That would be a matter for the costume department. Spacesuit? You mean when we have someone dress up? There's nothing scheduled for today. We're talking about an event, right? That's her as well. Any lunar suits disappear lately? How did you know? We lost one yesterday. I knew it. We can't say for sure the informant's connected to this place now. What's this kid reading? It's a map showing all the areas and how to get them. Fair enough. No sign of him. Whoever he is, we better keep a closer eye on Takagawa. I'll get him, Meryl and Dave on it. I don't know if there's a requirement to rest. Unless I, for some reason, didn't finish their dialogue.
徳川製薬に着いたぞ。
Here we are.
よかった。誰もいないみたいだ。
こんな時間まで会社で残業してるやつなんかいないぜ。
そうとは限らん。日本系企業はそれで当たり前なんだ。24時間体制で働いてる。
じゃあ今日は
ビヨンド30周年記念の準備で休みなんだろう。
メリルが30周年記念の準備が遅れてるとか言ってたが、何か関係あるんだ。
ジョナサン、北条の CD ロムをロードするだけだぞ。絶対に無茶はするな。
分かってる。長いはしないさ。
Go check the door. I don't think it'd be open at this time of night, though. You can't go inside at any time with Hojo's ID.
いいか、ジョナサン。徳川の連中にこんなところ見つかるとことだぞ。どう見ても不法侵入だ。
So go to the hospital! Oh my god.
昔、そういうセリフ何度か聞いて失敗しなかったが。
じゃあ、エドはここにいろ。
分かった。行こう。お前を野放しにする方が危ないからな。フロントだ。ガードマンはいないぞ。
They have cameras everywhere! What are we doing? This is so dumb. Don't step in front of the camera. They have proof we broke in here. Pictures of me never turn out well. You really are one psycho son of a bitch, you know that? Seriously, watch out for the cameras. Seriously, watch out for the cameras. This is the room Hojo worked in.
よし、ロックシステムに ID を差し込んでみよう。ID を差し込んで、よし、開いたぞ。入ろう。DDS ルームだ。暗いな。
早いとこ例の CD ロムをロードしちまおうぜ。
そうだな。俺もこういうところは苦手なんだ。
Why are we here? Go to the hospital!
エド、見ろ。端末がなくなってる。
なんてことだ。危険を冒して忍び込んだのに。
そういえば、どっかにも同じ T ギア99があった。
The hospital!
そうだ。あそこへ急ごう。
Like I've been saying, the hospital! Yeah, let's get over to BCCH and try the pharmacy's computer. A hospital at this time of night? We don't have a choice. This can't wait. I mean, he's right. The hospital really is the best. I've been saying that for a hot minute. It's almost as if I got through to these guys, you know? Me, the detective that knows what things are and how they work?
ECCH に着いたぞ。この時間だ。診察はしていないようだ。
That's not the main entrance. So what's this entrance here for? Probably an entrance for employees. Let's check the front door first. Door's open. We can enter through here. Oh. How can something like this happen with a place supposedly run by a computer? Hospitals don't close, gamers.
病院へ入るぞ。
They don't close.
令状もないんだ。
We don't have a warrant.
気をつけるんだぞ。
もし見つかっても大丈夫だ。
どうして？
どっか具合の悪いところあるだろ。この際だから見てもらえ。
入院するくらいなら捕まった方がマシだよ。
さあ行くぞ。
BCCH のロビーだ。誰もいないな。
その方がいろいろと都合がいい。
こんな時間に捜査の許可が出るとは思えんしな。薬局には理事長室を通らないといけなかったな。
クリスには悪いが無断で入るしかない。
よし、行こう。
I'm wondering if Chris is gonna be here. She is.
クリス
さん、いたんですか？
ちょっと残業してたものだから。それよりもどうしたの？こんな時間に。もしかして不法侵入？
申し訳ない、クリスさん。
どうしても調べたいことがあったもんで。それに扉が開いてた。
理由はどうあれ、これはやりすぎね。
クリスさん、どうか署には通報しないでください。お願いです。
そうはいかないのよね、経営者としては。
クリス、こんなことがゲイツに知れたらますます立場が悪くなる。
本当に黙って侵入したりしてすいませんでした。
そうね。私に捜査の立ち会いをさせてくれるなら許してあげようかな。
本当？
ちょっと私も興味あるのよね、こういうのって。推理小説みたいでしょ。
わかりました。じゃあクリスさん、捜査に立ち会ってもらえますか？
Interesting. Sorry we tried to sneak in here like this, Chris. There was something we just had to check. Yeah, you told me. So what's going on? This doesn't have anything to do with our investigation, but how complex a procedure is a bone marrow transplant? Bone marrow transplant? Well, all transplants are complex procedures, but bone marrow transplant in particular? You can't perform the transplant without a donor. Those HLA matches the recipients. Everything depends on the matching.
実は CD ロムをロードしたいんだが、ここに徳川の T ギア99は？
T ギア99は徳川グループ独自のネットワークコンピューターの端末よ。この病院のコンピューターとは異なるわ。そうね。でも薬局にならあるわ。石田が薬の管理を徳川とネットでつないで行ってたから。
閉めた。これでやっとロードできる。
We definitely have one in the pharmacy. You want to load the data on that, right? Is she just skipping work? Interesting. Oh, we're coming up on break. I'm just trying to set a... I'll need to contact Takagawa about it. Okay. I'm trying to get to a good cliffhanger. I wonder what could have happened to him. He's always serious about work. That was the only good thing about him. You must have more important things to talk about me. You didn't come here to ask me that. The only real problem would be a shortage of donors. We finally established global criteria for brain death after the turn of the century, but a number of issues have maintained the donor shortage. We have the technology, but it's useless without enough donors. My wife died waiting for a transplant. Karen's waiting for a donor herself. Only place you'll find cyborgs for now are movies and video games and the like. We can't play God at everything, perhaps. You mentioned brain death. Is that really that important right now? I guess I don't mind. Brain death is different from persistent vegetative state. In persistent vegetative state, the cerebral cortex stops functioning while the brainstem continues to work normally. Some people differentiate between total brain death and brainstem death, but in both the cases, the brainstem, which basically speaking regulates the body's life support, stops functioning. There's many criteria involving declaring brain death. Before, conditions varied from country to country, but we now have a worldwide consensus for declaring a person's brain dead. Then we have one in the pharmacy. She'll help. I can think of other things I'd prefer an apology for. Sorry about that. Cops definitely shouldn't be doing things like that either. I'm not a cop. Don't even try it, please not. I guess that's it.
クリス、T ギア99を使わせてほしいんだが。
大至急、重要なことなんだ。
そう。捜査令状か何かある？
もちろんない。
そうあっさり言われると。分かったわ。私、見なかったことにするわ。
ありがとう、クリス。
いいのよ。私、あなたたちを見てると昔の頃を思い出して。ずっと昔のこと。さあ、ついてきて。ロックを解除するわ。さあ、薬局よ。石田はいないわ。
ジョナサン、CD ロムを早くロードしよう。
We're gonna look at one more thing, then I'm saving and taking a break. Of all... It's a calendar. Wait, the year on this says 2047. That's 7 years from now. Oh, he told me he got that as a prize from somewhere. I don't know the details, but apparently if you mailed in these tokens, this company would send you something. That's right, I think it had to do with some video game. Yeah, the crowd does this kind of thing a lot. Collect all the tokens in a set and they give you stuff in return. Why do you think it's for 2047? An attempt at postmodern art? Hey, check out this guy in the middle. He looks like Jonathan, don't you think? If you change the hair and the clothes. I guess they're just trying to be cool. Alright. Awesome.